Namaste, my friend. Let us do some easy practice before we talk about the mind. Today we are going to talk about always lead the mind, never allow the mind to dictate you. And if the mind dictates you, you will experience anxiety, duality, conflict at any point of time. So close your eyes. Eyes are closed. Become aware of the entire body. Find out the adjustment. Just adjust and allow the body to be so-called comfortable. So when we see the body mentally, we find a sense of comfort, awareness that raises our awareness. Remember this. So it is going to lead the mind rather than mind leading us. You may see inside. You'll move the mind inside the body and you become aware of the space. I'm giving the instruction today in a very casual manner, informal, conversational style. Why? You have been a seeker and you are a seeker. So the conversational style keeps your mind natural. So just become aware of the space inside. Look inside your body in awareness of the inner space or a darkness. And become aware of that space has no boundary. So what happens? When you discover and your mind recognizes there is no boundary in that space, what happens? You know what happens? You raise your awareness level. You are able to watch these thoughts objectively. They come and go. Today's topic, obviously, we are going to talk about always lead the mind. Never allow the mind to lead you, to dictate you. Why it happens? Because the thought comes and thought says, I am in anxiety and you become anxiety. I am in stress, you become stress. That is the subjectification. So our next step is being carefree. Watch your thoughts like traffic while standing across a road. You are separate from your thoughts. Don't attach to or identify with them. Let the thought come, let it go. What I said, it is just, I'm stressing an example that you're standing across a road means separate from the traffic of thoughts. Feel separate from your thoughts, recognize you are not your thoughts. What it needs? It simply needs an awareness. Don't you see I'm separate from you? Yes. So just know that I am one of your thoughts and I'm separate from you. The same way, all these thoughts are separate from you. So what happens? What happens? Thought comes to your mind, I have a stress. That thought is separate from you. I have an anxiety. That thought is separate from you. So that separation brings a kind of detachment from the thoughts. What is that? It is a new level of awareness. So we have two previous steps helps you to live in awareness. Living in higher awareness means what? So simple to understand. Living in a higher awareness means that you are not at all concerned about any thought that is coming to your mind. Nothing at all. There is not at all. No thought is coming. Why we want a new level of awareness? It changes your behavior and attitude. It changes the response to any thought that is coming to my mind, coming to your mind. Are you getting it, my friend? Any thought of stress, of anxiety, of duality, of pleasure seeking, of infatuation enters into your mind, you're already separate. You know this is just a thought. This is not my situation, condition, and state of the mind. But as I told you, it all depends on your commitment and dedication. That if we are knowledge and the practice goes together, it gives you a very deep result. If it is not, then it causes the problem. So that is why we have the next step. You are looking inside the forehead in the space. You're looking inside the forehead in the space, and you start breathing. Quick and short and gentle breath through both the nostrils into the rib cage. What it means? It simply means the body is still, you are comfortable, you are carefree. At the same time, you are breathing through both the nostrils into the rib cage. You keep looking inside the forehead in the space and continue breathing. Continue breathing. You keep looking into the dark space inside the forehead, and the mind continues to follow the breathing. Yes, the mind will say in the between, I don't feel like doing, endure it. Keep on doing it. You are a seeker, that's why the practice is for you, not for everyone. And those people who complain that they cannot do it, they are not a seeker. We need not to subjectify. We keep the breathing separate from us as if we are breathing which is separate from you. Continue. You may feel the change in your experiences, maybe a tingling sensation, maybe a kind of relaxing vibrations all over the body inside your head. Be with it. You may also experience the mind is resisting to the practice. So what you do, you tell the mind that I'll be continuing the practice, and then keep on. Continue. And now stop this breathing. Do nothing. Experience the changes that is taking place. Recognize them and accept these changes, please. At the same time, register in your mind as a memory of these beautiful experiences, and also register the resistance that you felt and you endured it. Now, in that state, look at the head and the neck mentally. You are looking at the head and the neck mentally, and then experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. That state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness helps to live in a higher awareness and change the mind. We recognize new sensations, we recognize the calming effect and a relaxation, we recognize the stillness and any resistance caused by the mind. So we just don't care about any resistance the mind has. Mind has any thought, let it be. Move the mind on the right arm, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Move the mind on the left arm, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Move the mind on the entire body, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Even if the mind has a thought, now they cannot get attached to you because you are already in the state of detachment. That is what the higher awareness is, and you continue to experience those sensations, stillness. So instead, those thoughts which are repeated in your mind, even if they are too far, and that may recall, oh, I have an anxiety yesterday, I do it, and I have a stress yesterday, I did something like this which I feel bad. There are a lot of thoughts. So we have to replace these thoughts. There the role of the mantra comes. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. You say in your mind, Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. And then we go to the meaning. Meaning is, let everyone be happy. And then you move the mind outside to your near and the dear ones in the people and the situation by saying mentally, let everyone be happy. You want to see everyone happy. You are not expecting happiness from them. Why? Because our nature is happiness. You see, that is causing a lot of anxiety. The moment we have an expectations, mind gets limited, mind starts working on us, dictating on us, and there the problem comes. Sarve santu niramaya, sarve santu niramaya, sarve santu niramaya. Let everyone be in the state of well-being. What it means? Your state of well-being is in your hand, provided you are not asking the mind to lead you, to dictate you. But if you're asking your mind to dictate you, if your mind is leading you, mind is dictating over you, then it goes outside. It has millions of expectations from a situation, from a person you are talking, in your relations. That causes the anxiety, duality, and a conflict. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Let everyone be blessed. So your mind, your thought is seeking the blessing and the grace for everyone. Why? You are filled with that grace, peace, and happiness and the well-being. Because you are seeking the same from the existence. You are not seeking from anyone. So why, how it is going to help? It will change the very thought pattern in your mind. And when that thought pattern changes, even those thoughts passes your mind, it will not have a cumulative reacting effect. Ma kaschid dukha bhag bhaved, ma kaschid dukha bhag bhaved, ma kaschid dukha bhag bhaved. Let none suffer from misery in this world. Let no suffering be attached to anyone, including you. You are thinking. Last week, with anyone you had a moment of upset and anxiety, just say that let no one suffer from misery in this world. So when you are saying this, not only your mind is purified, but you have a feeling of goodwill to those people also. That is where the mind is leading us. We need to change the mind. Mind should not lead me. When the mind is leading you, it has to be with the sense of expectation and the attachment. And now in that state, just looking at the breath, breath is going in and coming out. No change in the rate and the rhythm of the breath. First, experience the sensation, relaxation, and stillness in the body. It continues, means you are living in a higher awareness. Then you are looking inside. Then you are looking at the breath. Then you are watching the breath is going in and out. And every time the breath goes in, Om Shanti. Every time the breath comes out, you drop Om Shanti. Om is the real self. Our real self is the nature of peace and happiness. And obviously, Shanti means peace. So every time your mind is recognizing you are peace and happiness. Continue. The breath goes in, Om Shanti. Breath comes out, Om Shanti. Breath goes in, Om Shanti. Breath comes out, Om Shanti. Notice any resistance at this moment. What is the resistance? The mind wants to dictate over you. How the mind wants to dictate over you? It has millions and millions of ways. When you do not recognize them, it causes the anxiety and duality. Couple of them, mind says, no, it has been too much and I don't want to do it. And you endure it and you keep on doing it. Suddenly the mind moves your body. No way. If the mind moves the body, you become aware and keep the body still. So then again the mind starts thinking of what happened yesterday. You become aware, bring the mind on the body, experience the stillness, bring the mind inside the head, become aware, bring the mind on the breath, bring the mind on breath with the Om Shanti. That is how we need to follow. We have to follow it gently. We need not to fight with the mind. If you are fighting with the mind, even I will notice you, your body movement and movement of your eyeballs. Continue. You are dropping Om Shanti on the breath going in and on the breath coming out. Any resistance, you bypass the resistance by recognizing them. That is the key. That is the key. Continue. Motionless state of the body, physical body. The mental body is looking inside the head, then it is looking at the breath, then it is dropping mentally Om Shanti, and at the same time you are recognizing any resistance, movement of the body, feeling a sense of fatigue and the tiredness. No, we continue. Why? We want to develop an endurance. Why? So that the mind should not dictate over us. Why? So that we can lead the mind. Why? So that we live in higher awareness. Why? By higher awareness we can discover the real self. And now do nothing, remain as you are. So when you are doing this practice this week, you check it that how long you can sustain in that state of doing nothing. Why? It will help you to understand how you can lead the mind and how the mind cannot dictate you. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring the mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. Always remember, do we lead the mind or the mind leads us? Mind leading us, it is impulsive. It is habitual. We can either let our mind run on autopilot or driven by the habits and a passion, or we can consciously work on the mind to lead it. We can choose to either let our mind unconsciously react to our life, react to any thought that enters into your mind, or consciously working on our mind to get rid of that thought, so that you can get rid of that anxiety and duality at that particular moment. Question comes, how the mind leads us. When the mind leads us, you are in anxiety, mind is leading. You are in stress, mind is dictating over you. When we are in an act of anger, fear, or the raw emotions, we are being led by the impulses rather than consciously dictating our mind. We are not working on our mind. You are sitting alone. One thought of a person comes and your mood swings. The mind is working on you. We start yelling hurtful things in an argument. The mind is working on us. Mind is leading us. The mind has been doing it for centuries. Not only to you, but millions of the people. We are lucky. We understand the Eastern wisdom. We are understanding the knowledge. Habits of thinking can develop these patterns in our mind that lead our perspective. You're pessimistic, for example. Being pessimistic and critical without making an effort to adjust that mentally is another way the mind is dictating over us. If you leave the mind like a wild monkey, anytime, any day, in any situation, those impulses will rise up. And the mind will start dictating us. Are you understanding? Assumptions and biases. Our assumption in the mind is a thought and a feeling. And the biases shape our world views over time. And it has been done by your mind for so many years until you are introduced the journey of the Eastern wisdom, and those impressions have been accumulated and they surface at any time. They surface without any conscious effort. Are you getting it? I'm addressing your question last week that you have put it. So the mind is not working consciously. Mind is working out of assumptions and the biases and prejudices. They are in the form of a thought, feeling, images that we have stored. Now, are you saying that should we not think? No, you think. The moment you have an assumption and the biases and prejudices, and that resulted into an anxiety, duality, and a mood swing, first thing is to objectify, separate it. Then we will explore who is right and wrong, who causes the problem. First step is very important. Otherwise, what happens? Our subconscious thoughts and feelings, biases shape our thinking, and those thinking creates a chain reaction, and chain reaction creates a particular image about a particular person or a situation, and that imagined situation is creating me an anxiety and duality and a conflict and a reaction in my life. How come? The habits are ingrained patterns of thinking. I know it is difficult to break, but it is not impossible. A pessimistic thinking thought may persist even when we are very optimistic. Then there is no way. No, there is a way, because now you are not siding with the pessimistic thought. What do you mean? The two people are fighting. You are not fighting. You see, those two people are separate from you. These two thoughts are separate from you. We are understanding how the mind is leading us. Mind is always leading us unconsciously, habitually, impulsively. Do you become angry? Yes, I become angry. Show your anger. Become angry now. What your mind says. No, I cannot become angry now. Why not? There is no situation. Let me create a situation and become angry. And still you cannot become. Are you getting it? You cannot become upset now. Why? Because you are living in higher awareness. You cannot put an agenda into your calendar that I will become angry, upset, stressed tomorrow at 10 a.m. The moment the 10 a.m. comes, you are aware. In that field of awareness, you don't feel any anger and upset. Are you getting it? That means you have already separated. Strong emotions like fear or anger or anxiety take hold of our mind and drive our actions. It is hard to maintain self-control when we are in a panicky state. And only reason, the mind is dictating us. So what to do when I can lead the mind? First thing is to become aware. I should know, oh, this thought is coming. You repeat, this thought causes the anxiety in me. This thought created a fear pattern in me. What we are doing? We are becoming aware to take over the mind. Science says we have our brain have a biological drives and the needs such as belongingness and the self-esteem that motivate behavior. We all have the feeling. I have a belongingness for you. In spite of whatever the challenges you are facing in your life, I don't have an imagined idea about you. You are a wonderful person. Everyone, you are a wonderful person. So I don't keep the imagined ideas in my mind. Those ideas come from the impulses. So you are a wonderful person, so I have a sense of belongingness in you, with you. So how can it create an anxiety and duality in me? But I have an imagined idea, then I have certain reservations and a fear. So is it necessary to keep those imagined ideas in a set pattern of thoughts about a person or a situation? No, it is not required. Can you think of the best option? Mind leading us or we are leading the mind? Which one is better? Obviously, if we are leading the mind, not the mind dictating over us. It emphasizes the need. So first thing we need to do it. What we need to do it? Every day we should do the practice to take over the restless, unsteady mind. What we need to do? It demands a self-discipline. What is self-discipline? A regular, consistent practice without faith. And every time you practice, you come out of the practice and check whether I feel a sense of detachment from those thoughts. Restless mind, fickle mind, mind that has an imagined ideas about the situation outside creates a delusion, and the delusion is bound to create your anxiety, duality, anger, and you have to understand that. So the very first thing, anytime you have an anxiety, first thing, restlessness to restfulness. Don't start thinking, don't create a chain of the thoughts. about any reaction or about any anxiety or duality or a conflict or a mood swing. Any thought comes, you first say, look, mind, oh mind, let me relax and then I will think about you. Can you say that? You say that, 50% of your anxiety is gone. We are already going deeper. Eastern wisdom says that the mind, all its working takes place because of the three qualities, which is known as the sattva, rajas and tamas. We are going to talk about it. So these three qualities are already always present in the mind. The first quality brings the harmony, peace and calmness and wisdom. Second quality makes me hyperactive. So I'm in anxiety, I keep on thinking about that thought, it makes me hyperactive. Then the anxiety is not going away. Reaction is not going away. Anger is not going away. You are filled with that rage in your body. I told you the importance of from the restlessness to the restfulness. First thing is to recognize here your mind is saying, let me go into relaxation first. This is what the disciplining the mind, controlling its egoistic tendencies. How? By detachment. How? By moving the mind towards purity and inner calm. Should we lead our mind? Now you are clear. Should we lead our mind? The answer is big yes. So just have a recognition. Anytime you have an anxiety, duality, conflict, mind is leading you. You become aware, oh, what happened? Sometime you're driving your car and the steering moves in the other direction. You say no. Don't you say no? No, you say it practically. You say it with, and you instantly hold on the steering and you change the direction. Balance it. That is what I'm saying to you. You start thinking. After all, the steering moves in another direction. Without the thought in your mind, you cannot move the steering on the other side. That is what I'm saying you. What that means? We consciously direct our thoughts and change our attitude. You're feeling depressed. Tell your mind, you are telling me that I am feeling depressed. Let me relax and then I will talk about the depression. This is the approach we should. But say for example, you forget. You have a mood swing and you forget. And then that imagined mood swing keeps on thinking, creates a different situation in your mind, and you're gone. The mind has started dictating over you. We can choose that I know you have chosen in the past and you can still choose. And obviously, I said that regular practice is going to help you. In that context, we should also understand what is this mind. All experiences takes place in the mind. Mind is not one. Or I would rephrase this, mind is one, but it has four functional aspects. So when I say the mind is not one, it means there are multiple minds. That is one way to say it. And the other way to say it, the mind is one, it has four functional aspects. It means it has four functions. Your mobile, your smartphone, it can take picture, it can send a message, it can open the WhatsApp, it can call someone, a lot of stuff, we have many applications. So when we use the word mind, the first mind is considered as an internal sense organ which has a simple thinking pattern, emotions and feeling. Second function of the mind is that it retrieves the memory. So any memory is retrieved that allows my experiences, learning, and it may lead me to stress also and happiness also. Third function of the mind is what we say the intellect. The moment you take the decision, I have a lot of anxiety. Very good, mind, you told me you have a lot of anxiety. Let me move from the restlessness to restfulness. This is the function of the intellect. I have to say it mentally. I'm not saying say it loudly. You say it loudly and start working on it. So intellect is known as the higher faculty of understanding. From that intellect, I can create a sense of detachment. From the mind, you cannot. Mind will pull you down. Intellect raise you up. And in the same intellect, we have an I thought. So it is the same mind. The same I says I am in stress. I have an anxiety. You see that same mind. Same mind. That is why we need to work on the mind. We have to lead the mind, not the mind should lead me. Let us go a little deeper. All these thoughts and ideas arise from the intellect through the mind. What it means? I feel heaviness. So mind is feeling. Intellect says, oh, this heaviness is something like anxiety. You have given a label. Why? Is there any need? Why don't you become aware? Why don't you do the practice and move into relaxation first before labeling any? Are you getting it? The next statement I'm going to make can transform your life if you settle into that knowledge. What is that? Whether it is intellect, whether it is your mind, whether it is your I thought, whether it is memory, they are the instruments of the real self. Car is your instrument. Cooker is your instrument. Coffee maker is your instrument. These sense organs are your instrument. You are different and separate from your instrument. Mind is your instrument. You are separate from the mind. If you settle into that knowledge, no one can dare you to put into anxiety. Even you cannot dare. That is the teachings of our great masters. That is the journey of the mindfulness or meditation. It's a unique discovery of Eastern wisdom. Not only that, my friend, there is another unique discovery of the Eastern wisdom. What it says, our master says, this mind has two flow. One flow puts me down, other flow puts me up. Am I responsible for putting me down? Yes. I choose the flow of the mind that puts me down. That flow is known as prayers. And another flow that puts me up, rise in awareness, inspires me to live into that state of calmness and peace, is the flow of the Shreyas. Are both present in my mind all the time? Answer is yes. So the flow of the prayers puts you down, and ultimately the mind starts saying, I have an anxiety, duality, conflict, problem, anger, hesitation, mood swing, insecurity, fear. So innate through the intellect. That is why I said, anytime you have the flow, this flow of the mind, you have to use the other flow of the mind. Both are present at the same time. Both are always present. But when the mind continues to learn and follows the path of the Eastern wisdom through a discipline, constant listening and learning, the time comes, the mind dominates with the Shreyas flow. It keeps on living and rising in awareness. The Shreyas flow, what it means by the Shreyas flow? Shreyas flow always looks for the truth. Now you are responsible for my anxiety and stress and anger. Is there any truth into it? So who discovers the truth into that you are responsible for my stress and suffering? The flow of the Shreya, flow of the prayers. The mind that puts me down. And the truth is that real self is of the nature of peace and happiness. Hence, now you see that. The moment I remember, I recall in my mind changes. So my mind picks up the truth and the integrity. It says, instantly it says in the moment of anxiety, duality, it says, oh, let me. Mind, I know where are you going, let me do the practice. Let me raise my awareness. Let me drop any imagined ideas in the thoughts about other person and situation in my life. I can bet you. I can promise you. You start flowing into peace and calmness. That choice, when you start leading the mind, that helps in personal growth and self-actualization. It is responsible for your inner peace and lasting fulfillment, not I am. I am just an instrument for you. A catalyst. Follow the path of the Shreyas. When, anytime, anywhere, in any situation, it is purely internal, it is mental, it is emotional. Now I get you made me emotional. Why don't you get emotional with the Shreyas? When you get emotionally charged, no, I have to rise in awareness. You follow the path of the Shreyas, and then the mind, you start leading the mind. It raises your self-awareness. It gives you the self-control. You are able to prioritize. What you prioritize? Oh no, mind, why you are going there? You're acting from the higher values and the wisdom. What happens? The mind develops a tremendous faith in the highest self. Obviously, it takes time, it takes a regular practice. I have to be vigilant in my life. Are you not vigilant driving the car? Are you not vigilant preparing the tea and cooking your food? Are you not vigilant sitting on the couch? No, I'm always vigilant. That's why I sit calmly on the couch. I drive my car calmly. I prepare the... Why you're not vigilant about yourself all the time? Tell me. You are vigilant. Prayers comes, you replace it with the Shreyas and you are done. Otherwise, these prayers, the lower, the more selfish flow of the mind that leads one towards momentary sensual pleasure or pain, momentary duality and a comfort, because of the impulsive nature. It has an impulsive voice inside. It's a vampire. It gives you a short-term gratification, but then we start regretting. We feel good in a moment, but we are not aware of the consequences if I keep on thinking about my anxiety and the mood swing. That flow pushes me, forces me, the mind is working on me, forces me to indulge in impulsive desires, impulsive thoughts. The other flow, the Shreyas flow, it aligns me with my true purpose. It leads to the knowing one's real self. That results in personal growth and development. I live more consciously when I follow the path of the Shreyas, when I lead the mind. Same way. So where I'm leading the mind, Shreyas means what is right and good. So we act from the knowledge rather than reacting from the passions. So when you react from the passion, you will definitely say that I have a lot of stress. When we are working on the mind towards the self-discovery, inner freedom, joy, and the harmony in the life, those impulsive, the mind dictating on us starts gradually dropping, dissolving. We gain an understanding of our nature. By working on our mind, we can transcend the impulsive nature first, so we have a higher level of experience, and we continue doing the practice. We gradually dissolve all the past impressions accumulated for years. Third, transformation takes place, and there comes the awakening. That is what is known as that you are living in a moment of peace and happiness all the time, 24/7. That is the goal of the Eastern wisdom. And you have seen it, gradually. Whenever you have followed the path of the Shreyas, you have been able to minimize the suffering. So you have a less suffering and more peace because you followed the path. Sometimes you miss it, so the mind drops down into that impulsive nature, and it causes. You already know it. No, but my mind is always wandering, you may ask. Everyone's mind is wandering. Whether it is Einstein, Edison, Elon Musk, you, me. We can work on the mind. My master used to say that the way you exercise physically and build a muscle, we can build the muscle of the mind. That is what is the today's topic was. Leading the mind, not led by the mind. Leading the mind means what? That mind, I will choose what thoughts, speech, and action using the right knowledge and the desire and the effort. Are you getting it? Let me repeat it. Leading the mind means that I will choose the thought, speech, and action using the right knowledge, the right desire, and the right effort. No, but your mind says, I am in stress. I don't want to choose it. Choosing mind, I will choose what thought, speech, and action. But the mind says you are in anxiety. That is also a thought and a feeling. And you say to the mind, I will choose the peace. I am not going to think about it. No second thought. Let me Become aware. If you become aware, you feel the peace. If you don't, you are already aware, you do the practice, you get out of it. Maybe you can follow the second step. Instead of the practice, you say, okay, why I'm thinking about others? Why I feel myself, why I'm limiting myself because of others said me something? That's the work of the higher seeker. Think in other way, simple way. I am in stress. So I have a loving nature to myself. Okay. So, okay, anxiety will increase the loving nature to myself. No. You're already changing the flow of the mind. Are you getting it? I can give you millions of examples. But it demands, in the beginning, regular practice. We are a seeker in the morning, we are a seeker in the afternoon, we are a seeker in the evening, we are a seeker in the night. We are a seeker before the sleep. What does it mean by seeker? Seeker says, mind, I will lead you. You have no chance to lead me. Deep inside, behind the mind, we all share the same state of permanent peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. You, me, and everyone. Where is the problem? My mind says, this guy is crazy, he made me stressed. But he also has the same peace and happiness. I imagined. I am deluded. So how to get out of the delusion? So you simply remember, no one can be ever responsible for my peace and happiness because it is within me. So he is not, or she is not learning the path of the Eastern wisdom. That is why he is seeking peace and happiness by criticizing, by putting someone into the stress. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not affected by you. I have to think in that way. Does that make a sense? That is the way the self-inquiry is done. So once we start leading the mind at the personal, professional, social, and situational level, then only this mind can recognize that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the ego, I am the real self of the nature of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. It seems impossible. Answer is no. The moment you start the journey, you have one point agenda that I will lead the mind through my thought, speech, action, right desire, right self-effort. It becomes easy and possible. It has a deeper insight.